invocation by Chaplain John Gerhardt.
Dr. Chairman, if you bow your heads with me for the invocation. Lord our God, it is written that it is good to give thanks. So we thank you this day for life and for health, for friends, family, and for the great privilege we have to care for our neighbors who come to us in need. We're grateful for their trust, and we ask your hand of guidance and wisdom as we care for those in pain and distress. We're thankful for the opportunity to now serve our community more fully in the provision of trauma care that is closer to home. Bless our staff, we pray, as they now bear the greater responsibility of caring for patients in even greater crisis and families experiencing greater heartache. Help us to provide care with the most skillful level of expertise and with the deepest levels of compassion. Guide now those who lead our hospital and bless this meeting of our hospital board. These things together we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's join together in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, a nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the meeting to order of the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board on March 16th, 2015. And let me provide you with this information. Any citizen desiring to address the hospital board should turn in a speaker card to the board secretary. If the citizen comment pertains to an item on the agenda today, the comment will be heard early in this meeting. Otherwise, it will be heard toward the end. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 5 minutes. Vendors, suppliers, or other persons seeking hospital contracts awarded on a competitive basis are reminded that their ability to address the board may be restricted by the terms of the invitation for bid, request for proposal, or other purchasing criteria. Lastly, the board has established a claims adjustment review panel comprised of representatives of the board, the medical staff, administration, and legal counsel to review and negotiate the settlement of claims. Accordingly, the board will not entertain comments on or discuss or negotiate claims at this meeting. So if anybody wishes to address the board, you fill out a card and give it to our secretary, Ms. Donna DeSisto. Thank you. We need approval of the orders of the day.
So moved. Second.
Any comments or discussion? Yes.
If we may, I'd like to add item number 18. I'd like to talk a little bit about how we interface with our veteran community.
How the board interacts with our veteran community?
How the whole hospital system interacts with the veteran community.
Is there a second to that motion?
So moved.
All those in favor, please indicate saying yes. Opposed?
Someone has to vote.
We're going to try this again. All those in favor of adding this item to the agenda, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Sounds like it carried. So, item 18, you wanted it to be? We have it item 18. So maybe we'll put it at the end, after legal matters. Other business. We have item 23 for other business. So Mr. Henry, we'll put it under other business.
Yes, ma'am, that's excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So now, did we approve the orders of the day
As amended.
as amended? We need to do that. So we can
So
have-
move that.
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. And now approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we move on to a very bittersweet moment on our agenda, which is the resignation of Richard Donegan at large seat 2. This is Dick. So, would you walk down to the podium, Dick?
Don't do it, Dick. Change your mind while you're crossing the floor.
It's okay, we'll get it. Oh, dear Lord.
Sorry about that.
Well, speaking on behalf of all of the board and everybody in the hospital, it's really been wonderful working. We understand you need to leave the board. Sorry you are, but we surely appreciate your time. So we have a resolution, Sarasota County Public Hospital Board, Sarasota, Florida. Whereas Richard O'Donegan is hereby honored for his 6 years of outstanding service as a Sarasota County Public Hospital Board member, Mr. Donegan has served with distinction and dedication as a board member, committee chair, providing invaluable depth of experience, financial acumen, and excellent leadership. And whereas Mr. Donegan has served as the chairman of the Human Resources Committee for 5 years, leaving an enduring legacy on the workplace. He was instrumental in improving the leadership evaluation process, challenging administrators and managers in his skillful and masterful way to achieve the organization's strategic goals. Whereas Mr. Donegan was the driving force behind the launch of the Innovation Committee, which has been responsible for initiatives to enhance patient care, safety, and efficiency. Thanks to his vision and advocacy, the multidisciplinary group of employees and leaders have implemented innovative programs, including the Patient Secure Registration System. And whereas Mr. Donegan has been a staunch champion for the adoption of advanced technology to improve patient care throughout the health system. And whereas Mr. Donegan is admired far and wide for his integrity and honesty. He has been a steadfast and loyal supporter of both the hospital and the Healthcare Foundation, efforts to deliver top-quality healthcare to this community. And now therefore be it resolved that although Mr. Donegan is relinquishing his seat on the hospital board, Sarasota Memorial and the community will continue to benefit from his invaluable contributions and service. Be it further resolved, Mr. Donegan is hereby acknowledged for his exceptional leadership. His name and accomplishments will be set down upon the records of this great healthcare system for all to see for years to come. Signed and recorded the 16th day of March, 2015, Dr. Marguerite Malone, Chairman of the Board, Mr. David Barringer, President, Chief Executive Officer. So we'd like you to have that. Take your hand and now hang on. We have this. Let's get it out. I'll show it to you in 2 pieces. This is the bottom of it. It says, Richard O'Donegan, Sarasota County Public Hospital Board, 2009-2015.
And this is just a pretty thing.
And his sits on it like a diamond. And you can see why we showed it in 2 pieces. Actually, let's see if you like.
I want to thank you all very much. I wish that all of this. So, I'll today. It's been a really great. Year. Years on the phone. Appreciate what has shown as a group, hospital, serves all these. Thank you very much. On the street.
Pretty heavy.
Madam Chair, I have a motion. I reluctantly move to accept the resignation of Richard Donegan from at-large Board Seat 2.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Thank you, and we certainly will miss Dick. And we now will talk about the appointment of somebody new to fill that spot. And we have talked about it in committee and come to a consensus. We're going to have a motion here today. And let me just mention that the person that we have selected in committee or talked about in committee is Mr. Tram Hudson. We were very lucky to have a lot of very qualified applicants with tremendous background and interest in the hospital. Very pleased to have picked the person we think is really just going to do a fabulous job. Tram has been a successful banker, having built and sold 3 banks. He's had as part of his life's work service to the community. Some of those activities have included being chairman of the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce, chairman of Workforce Florida, a board member of the Sarasota Family YMCA. He's a Leadership Florida graduate. He has done a tremendous amount of other things, and for example, was on the Manatee and Sarasota County United Way board. He's a past board member of Caldwell Trust Company. He says that he learned service from his father, and so his whole life has contained a tremendous amount of service to his community. He has good knowledge of the hospital, has been a member of our investment committee, so we are very pleased to have discussed him as our candidate. I think you had a motion for that.
I do, Madam Chair. I move pursuant to the authority granted to the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board in Section 1.4 of the district charter to appoint George Trammell, a.k.a. Tram, Hudson to the at-large board seat number 2, vacated by the resignation of Mr. Donegan, subject to the terms of the charter.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Hudson, we'd like to invite you to come sit in the vacated seat for the remainder of this meeting.
I can't believe you even have a new name tag.
We are official.
Madam
You
Chairman,
would like
may I
to say
say
a
just a
couple
few words? Listening to y'all talk about Richard Donegan, I am very humbled to follow him in his footsteps. A gentleman who served this hospital for over 15 years. I've known Dick probably that whole time. I have immense respect for him. And if I can do half the job that he did, I think it will be a good day. But he's really a role model for me, and I look forward to serving with all of you in helping to build and make Sarasota Memorial Hospital the best hospital in the state of Florida in our country. So thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you and welcome. Now we have a recognition that is overdue because at the time that we originally had it, the person for whom it was designed could not make the event.
Dr. Runwell, up and join. Margarita, way down. Let's stand over here. So every year we recognize our outgoing chief of staff in society. Thank you. And you were either working
are on vacation. With your son? Yes, that's what I was thinking. So, just on behalf of the administration, I wanted to thank you for all your leadership and everything you've done. To work with you, I had the privilege of knowing Dr. Romo the day I walked in the door 9 years ago. So, very much appreciate it. Resolution.
And on behalf of the board, we would like to say thank you for your service as chief of staff. And we all know, but for some of the rest of you, Cindy was just a real powerhouse in helping us move forward on our goals and objectives. We appreciate all the hard work, all that we've done. So we have a resolution for you. A resolution of the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board. Whereas Cindy Von Waldner, MD, is hereby honored for her dedication, leadership, and invaluable service as Chief of Staff of Sarasota Memorial Hospital. Whereas Dr. Von Waldner has skillfully balanced the many responsibilities of her leadership position with a busy anesthesiology practice during a year of ongoing change in healthcare. And whereas Dr. Von Waldner has earned the respect of the administration and her peers for her energy, responsiveness, integrity, accessibility, organizational skills, and kindness. Her knowledge, objectivity, and sense of fairness have played an important role in the many decisions that have improved our quality of care and effective relations with the medical staff. Whereas Dr. Von Waldner has been remarkably active in leading medical staff improvements during her tenure, including working with the MEC on improving the process for determining the best admitting and/or consulting physician for any given clinical condition, continuing our preparations for clinical integration, working toward achieving a higher level of clinical quality. She was a busy lady. And whereas Dr. Von Waldner has been a tireless physician champion for patient safety, devoting countless hours toward our Team Steps initiatives, as well as participating and leading the daily huddle process in the OR and throughout the hospital. And now therefore be it resolved that although Dr. Von Waldner has relinquished her duties as Chief of Staff, she will continue to play an important role in medical staff leadership, championing her fellow physicians to top quality care. Be it further resolved that the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board expresses its great appreciation to Cindy Von Waldner, MD, for her dedicated and caring service to our community. Her great name and achievements will be disseminated upon the records of this healthcare organization for all to read for years to come. Signed, David Barron, President, Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Marguerite Malone, Chair of Sarasota County Public Hospital Board. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I just want to say it's been a privilege to be able to serve as your Chief of Staff. And our community is so fortunate to have a hospital board so committed to improving the health of our community members and to working with the physicians and the physician leadership. So thank you very much.
One more thing in two parts. This is the base.
And then this.
And this is the back box. Thank you so much. And now we'll move on to the trauma program overview. And Dr. Jakes, I think, will present. You are going to introduce them, right, Dr. Fiorica?
Yes. Yes, we're pleased to have Dr. Jakes present the trauma program overview. Dr. Jakes, we're pleased to have Dr. Jakes joining us. His background, he went to medical school in Virginia, University of Virginia, then went on to do his training. He did a residency in Orlando at Orlando Regional Medical Center in general surgery, and then went on to Yale University to do his trauma and critical care fellowship. He's joining us now. He's one of our new trauma surgeons, helping us bring a state-of-the-art trauma center here to Sarasota.
Thank you. Well, everyone, I appreciate the opportunity to formally introduce our group. Privileged to be the newest part of the Sarasota Hospital family. Thank you for that introduction. Let me introduce our trauma director, Dr. Alan Brockhurst. Alan is an Ohio State guy who did trauma and critical care training at Jacksonville Hospital, one of the level 1 centers in the entire country. Alan is the foundation of our team. He's the strength, he's the go-to to keep.
Welcome.
And this is Dr. Ali Arawi. Ali did his training, his surgical training, trauma and surgical critical care training at Jacksonville as well, under some of the biggest names in our field of surgery. Ali is our all-star, is our first-round draft. He's our best laparoscopic guy. He's our IT. He's also the heart and soul. I'm Russ, as Jim introduced. I'm just what I bring to the team is very little that can come through those ambulance doors that I haven't seen. So the three of us together make a very unique group. We just complement each other's strengths. We're looking forward to not just building a good level 2 trauma, building one of the best in the state of Florida. Now, I'm a big history fan. Look back at where this hospital was, and if you go back a few years before this picture, it was beds in a tent. Where it's come to today, and get here, it's really through the overwhelming desire to serve the community. It's the vision of boards like you, boards that have come before you, through dedication, through investment, through patience, that has moved this hospital along the way. And the next step is trauma. Trauma is very important. It is one of the leading causes of deaths of all people. More of an issue for older people, affecting their morbidity and mortality. Trauma is not just a problem across the entire United States. It's a problem right here in Sarasota. 8 days ago, Dr. Brockhurst witnessed an accident on Waldemere 41, probably 100 yards from where we're all sitting right now. Patients extricated from that car, driven down to Sarasota High School, in a helicopter, and transported to the lake. That doesn't really tell us why the steps you've taken are the right steps. I don't think anything else does. This hospital is such a functioning hospital. The next step is really deliver a trauma. One thing we do is we create an efficiency. Really nothing we do is that height. We make the system more efficient. We put it all the pieces into place. Big history buff. Look at the history of warfare. It parallels the history of trauma. And one thing we learned, Crimean War, first ambulance uses through the Civil War and the modern wars, time to whatever level of care that was. But that is one of the driving forces behind the trauma center. Everything in place to speed up this delivery. It led to this idea of the golden hour. The idea that if we can intervene in this period of time, we can save more lives. Our team has taken to another step. I believe not just an hour, but even moments and seconds can save lives. As an example, Alan and the trauma team have put together a mass transfusion protocol to more efficiently get large amounts of blood from our blood bank actually into our patients. It's a simple thing. Why did you go through that? Just to save a few minutes. How do we save lives? Efficient at least. What do you need to build a trauma center? You already know. The vision to make it happen. You need the vision of a board like this. You need the support from the administrators. We've gotten a lot of support from Dave, from Bill, from Jan. Steve Ballard has been incredible. Jim. They brought us in because they saw this. And we also got a lot of buy-in from peers at the hospital, brought the trauma surgeons, but we're just one piece of this. We also have excellent nursing leadership. Jennifer Smith. All this comes together, and this is how we build a trauma center. Trauma is the ultimate team sport. Yet the world's greatest trauma surgeon or surgeons are not going to be able to save any lives unless you build a team around. There's a lot of advantages in this concept, and as a trauma center, processes that we institute in the hospital will permeate through this already incredible hospital and bring it up just enough. These things happen, I promise. And I wanted to take the opportunity to give you this specific time what we're actually doing. We take you back to September 1st. The administrative team submitted that letter of intent. That's what starts the process going. The deadline to allow the State Department of Health to know that you're in the trauma business. On February 1st, we were honored to join this family. We were brought forward. Since then, and ongoing, we are working to put every piece of human resource and capital resource in its right place to be prepared for delivering this care. Jennifer Sweeney and Jean Lucas will deliver our application by April 1st to the Department of Health. They have up to 2 weeks to review it. Sometimes it'll be a little bit before that, sometimes after that. We expect them to announce that we are a provisional level 2 trauma center. Once we get that announcement, we function as a trauma center. The EMS will be allowed to bring us patients through their protocols. The same ones now that they transport to other centers will come to us under that provisional status. We'll continue to work under that provisional status in May and July. That period of time, the Department of Health will very carefully inspect this, very carefully inspect that application. Supply us with a list of deficiencies, hopefully a very short list. We will then have 1 month to correct those deficiencies, then become eligible as of September for an out-of-state review team to come in and look at us. That out-of-state review team are usually the American surgeons who will come in, and based on their recommendation almost exclusively, we will become a level 2 certified, an official certified level 2 trauma center. One thing I didn't put on this timeline is that beyond getting the state of art is this, it's also going to go another step further and get the American College of Surgeons level 2 designation, which is something nationwide that our colleagues recognize even part of the Department of Health. We did a walkthrough where we basically took, if you can far right picture of a high-tech human intervention model. I call it dummy, but that insults Jennifer, who works with me. Move this patient through the system, coming in from ER to radiology to OR to ICU. We did that, and we're going to do this sometimes as a mock trauma to see how well the hospital is going to function in circumstances. I was amazingly surprised. I was expecting problems everywhere. We did find a few problems, things that we can correct. This hospital functions at such a high level. We have such enthusiasm in every department to get this done. We're looking forward to this. This is when we were evaluating the helicopter pad, and we took this picture. And I look forward to the day where under these big, beautiful blue letters, there's going to be big, bright red letters that say Trauma Center. Thank you, and any questions, please?
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Dr. Jakes? Well, let us say to you all that we are so pleased to have you here. We are thrilled we're going to become a trauma center. We appreciate the leadership you're bringing and all that you're contributing. And we just really think we have the best hospital around, and we're just going to soar with this. So thank you all very much. And we'll move on now to Excel winner for the month, Barbara Wingard, RN, Oncology Unit.
Barbara, you here? I'd have Barbara today. Okay.
Well, maybe we'll just move on then to the Physician Excel winner, Dr. Kelly Hamill, OBGYN, First Physicians Group.
Okay, so today we are, I'm pleased to be able to recognize Dr. Campbell, the recipient of our Physician Excel Award for the fourth quarter of 2014. Dr. Hamill is an OBGYN with First Physicians Group and has been on our staff since 2008. Dr. Hamill is described by all as being respectful, collaborative, and kind. But more specifically than that, we have some comments from those nominated. We didn't have to screen here. Dr. Hamill has the most positive attitude of anyone I've ever met. She is one of our friendliest physicians. She has the knack of building people up and telling our patients what a great nurse they have. Dr. Hamill is amazing. She enters her own orders, signs her paperwork without prompts, dresses professionally, wears her name badge, okay, and even cleans up after her deliveries. Can you say dream physician? Dr. Hamill is a great teacher. She offers advice and guidance to new nursing students and EMTs. Her communication style is clear, concise, and effective. She recently started using our SBAR communication tool from the Team Steps program. Dr. Hamill is always available to help, even if she's not scheduled. She assists other MDs in the OR and is generous with time to our nursing staff. Dr. Hamill has great customer service skills and her patients love her. She represents us well. Happy workers do a good job, and she is one of those people. So a big thank you to Dr. Hamill. Thank you so much. Yes.
For the board, we have.
Excuse me a moment. Could you get closer to the mic? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Physicians Excel recipient, fourth quarter 2014. Issue at the Sarasota Hospital Board and the administration. I'm grateful to the Excel program is designed to themselves by superior performance, and individuals recognize models, strengthen the quality. The hospital board and the administrative staff are pleased with the physician's Excel. Created courtesy to
Thank you very much for this board.
Oh, that's good.
And now we have three Hero Award winners: Jessica Angel, Nurse at Cape Surgery; Debbie Wagner, LPN at Cape Surgery; and Dr. Joseph Draper, Anesthesiology.
Please come on. Is that where you want it? Okay. So it's not every month that we are honored to have a Hero Awards with us, and particularly I think this is the first time I've seen three. And so to tell you their story. Late last year, Jessica Angel transferred to Cape Surgery, was working in phase 2 of the path. She was caring for a patient who was having difficulties post-operatively. She phoned the patient's physician to inform him of the situation. A few minutes later, Jessica confirmed with Debbie Wagner, the phase 2 nurse. Jessica relayed her conversation with the physician. Not really familiar with the physician, she was concerned not about the conversation, but the speech pattern of the physician. On hearing this, Debbie phoned the physician, spoke to him directly. She found the physician's speech slow, slurred, and somewhat incoherent. She immediately contacted her clinic manager, Joanne Sable, to inform her of their concerns. They made many attempts to contact the physician himself and home. Dr. Joe Draper, the Cape Medical Director, was able to contact the physician and confirm his home alone, experiencing medical issues, unable to maintain a conversation. Speech was fading in and out. Dr. Draper contacted the physician's wife and informed her of the situation. She immediately provided the necessary care versus severe issues. Had it not been for the quick actions of the Justice Debbie and for Dr. Draper, there could have been an entirely different situation. Thank you very much. We have three of them.
Going to, you guys would humor me, I'm going to read one of the plaques. Back there.
Be scared of him. He's a
Joseph Drake. Hereby inducting all three of you a Sarasota Memorial Healthcare Team SMH. This fourth day of March 2015 for various customers consistent families, visitors, and staff. In this case, thankful to peers, personal commitment, excellence, and love. Your presence. Chairs. Very well.
Yes, thank you.
Sort of speaker of it.
Or all three of you.
Well, we want to thank you very much for this recognition. We're very thankful for the outcome of this, and thank the Lord for putting the right people in the right place to save this individual's life.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Now the report of the medical staff, Dr. James Fiorica, Chief of Staff.
Yes, I would like to keep the board informed of developments in the clinical programs. Specifically, Dr. Ken Vivas recently joined the medical staff and will be the director of the Advanced Neurosurgery program here at SMH. This is a program that will include deep brain stimulation treatments, and we're very glad to have Dr. Vivas aboard on our team at SMH. That concludes my report.
Thank you so much. That sounds exciting.
Madam Chair, I move approval. Dr. Vivas as Medical Director of the Advanced Neurosurgical Program, as recommended by the Medical Executive Committee.
Any discussion or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Does that conclude your report?
Yes, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. And we'll move to the auxiliary report. Dottie Ziegler, Auxiliary President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have successfully recruited volunteers to serve at the Cape Surgery Center. Volunteers at the Cape will be instrumental in helping the staff by escorting patients and family members, assisting in the secondary recovery with nutrition support, making phone calls, assisting in the acquisition of supplies, and discharging patients by wheelchair. Our full complement of volunteers, including 4 substitutes, will be oriented on March 27th. Anticipating the visit from the Joint Commission, we have been preparing through educating our volunteers. The key elements of fire safety, general safety, and infection control are forefront in the education process. Our first fundraiser sale for 2015, the uniform sale, starts tomorrow, March 17th. The proceeds from these sales are included in monies used for general auxiliary expenses, scholarships we fund, and other donations made throughout the year. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much. The Sarasota Memorial Healthcare Foundation, Alex Quarles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate the opportunity. Fairly short report today. I will just say that our Employee Partners in Caring campaign is underway right now, and we have quite a few boxes and departments that are picking up their envelopes and receiving their pearls. And I have to say, it's I think their goal is close to $100,000 to raise for Sarasota Memorial of the hospital employees, which is really pretty fantastic. And I believe this is their 9th year in working on that project. Beyond that, the golf tournament, as you know, is May 1st at Laurel Oaks, and we are already at 100-plus players. One of the things that we are being recognized for is Outstanding Humanitarian Service Award by the American Blood Centers of the United States. Actually, I'll be going up there later this week to receive the award on behalf of the hospital and of the foundation from the blood donation support that we provide for the hospital and through the blood bank. In terms of contributions, as of the end of February 15 this year, we are at just about $1.7 million. We've processed about 1,800 gifts. Unfortunately, we have lost a number of donors. We've increased our donor base by 258. Our pledges remaining balance as of the end of February is $94,933, and the total future pledge balance and future expectancies is just under $71 million. Excuse me, $71 million. One project that we have been working on for many years right now is actually for a women's cancer research program. We've already received $5 million from an anonymous donor who has been supporting this particular project, and we have just now presented another 5-year plan for another $6 million for this women's cancer program, focused solely here at Sarasota Memorial. Again, the donor wishes to remain anonymous at this point, but I thought it would be important for you to know. And that concludes my report, unless you have any questions. Thank you.
That's wonderful. We'll move on now to the Secretary's report. Mr. Tom Powell, Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have the board meeting in front of me. Before I go there, I would like to let you all know that on the 30th of March, it's Marguerite Marlone's, our dear chairman's, birthday. So congratulations, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
And that same day at 6:30 in the morning, the Doctor's Day celebration will begin. Going into April, on Tuesday, April 2nd, we have an 8 o'clock board breakfast, a 9 o'clock quality committee, a 10 o'clock mission and planning committee, 11 o'clock the governance committee, and 12 o'clock the audit committee. On the 13th of April, which 13th and 14th, which are Monday and Tuesday, we have the safety net hospitals in Tallahassee. On the 20th, which is a Monday, we have the 11 o'clock review of finances, the 11:30 peer review, 1 o'clock the board meeting, and that is my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. The Treasurer's report, Mr. Joseph DiVigilio.
I just have one item for the board today, and it's approval of the bad debt and charity care. And I move approval of bad debt and charity care for the month ending February 28th, 2015, in the amount of $11,242,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Is there any discussion or are there any questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thanks. So the first operations report is Mr. Bill Wojin, Chief Financial Officer.
Morning, Madam Chair. Highlights for 2015, fifth month of our fiscal year. For the system for operating revenue, 53 million, compared to a budget of 49 million. Fiscal year, 16,000, budget of 207,064,000. For the system's total expenses, 49,461,000 compared to a budget of 48,000. Fiscal year to date, 246 million. 39,520. Operating income, still in the rating agency format for the month, $6,450,000. $4,000. Budget of $3 million. Fiscal year. Percent. Compared to a budget of 6%. To the hospital statistics, daily occupancy for February fiscal year, 439, compared to a budget of 70, compared to a budget of 11. Our average stay so far this fiscal year, 4.97. Hospital cases, 43, compared to a budget of births so far this fiscal year, 129, compared to a budget of 1,000. For our outpatient registrations, seven, a budget of care center registrations, 48,004, compared to a budget of 43. Our case that so far of all patients, 72. Your patients. Madam Chair, or unless there's
Questions for him? Yes, not, no, thank you. And so Jan Mock, our Chief Nursing Officer, is up next.
Good afternoon. Just a few items I'd like to cover. Quality and patient experience. I think as you saw in Bill's slides, we've had a very busy season over budget. But it's really the busiest that we've had in over 10 years. And I think you've already heard about that. I want to thank the staff who did a great job in managing these and really helping during this very busy time. From nursing to lab to radiology, transport, environmental services, and others. We really thank them for all of their hard work during this time. And this month we'll be having a nice event for them and thank them for work. I want to thank each and every one of them for stepping up, for helping as a team and working together to make this very season quality season for patient care and patient experience. One thing that did help with patient flow was we opened the 5 Northwest fifth floor on North 9, which is 25 beds. And this is for surgical observation patients, and this really helped as we increased volume. I want to thank the board for approving this project and the team who made it happen. It is beautiful. You can see here in the picture. This is the new unit. I'm very pleased about that. The staff are extremely happy. Also, I just wanted to say that we continue to work on patient flow and trying to increase that as new challenges come forward, and we're trying that will be even more important that we continue to work on efficiencies and effectiveness of patient flow. So we're constantly focused on this, and we sent a team this last week to Homes Regional in Melbourne with our vendor teletracking so that we could learn some of their best practices on that might help us as we find and the next item is you already heard about trauma and you met the trauma surgeons. This last week we had a grand rounds for trauma. This was our first, and as Dr. Jake says, this is a team event. It takes the whole team to make sure that the patient is cared for efficiently and with quality. And so they had a debate about how many people would show up, but I think as he mentioned, organization intended to be a big event. So it was, I think, bigger than we all thought. It was held in the auditorium. This is a great picture. You can see the medical director there. There were 150 in attendance. There were 25 physicians. There were clinical staff. There was staff from all over the organization there to learn about trauma. They covered the history of trauma, standards of trauma, what it will look like here at Sarasota Memorial, and the expectations. Questions. So I think you can see the interest that there was. This is just more of the crowd, and you see physicians that are This great work obviously has taken a lot of teamwork, and I want to thank the trauma surgeons, the medical staff, Jean Lucas, all their work. Watching it come together, it really makes me proud, and I thank the team. In March is social work month, and so I'd like to let you know their theme is social work paves the way for change. And we're celebrating with them this month, so if you see social work, saying it's a work. This is our team of social workers. It's a great team. We do a lot for caring for our patients and making sure that the care that we get in the hospital, but also and it'll be really important too as we look at. And the last thing I want to report, Alex, for her support in this foundation. Happy to report that 4 nurses received their oncology certification, and we have 11 more in the mix towards that. And again, thank you, Alex, and the foundation for supporting that. And this really fits into our mission, our strategic plan as we move forward with our oncology. And Madam Chair, the board and the committee, that is the final and the report. Unless you have any questions.
Thank you very much. We have no board reports. So we'll go on to committee reports, starting with the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Finance Committee met on March 3rd. Our first topic was Health Information Exchange, better known around here as HIE. And Dennis Baker is retiring at the end of the month, and he presented for the board for the last time. He thanked the board for 20 years of support, and we in turn thanked him for his contributions for 20 years. And Dennis, thank you. You're out there. The proposed HIE exchange and DB Motion HIE project would allow the system to meet several strategic goals. Pam Ramhofer discussed the HIE and provided a diagram of how it will work with the rest of the components. She provided an overview of the EHR provider for Sarasota. The benefits of DB Motion were reviewed. Dr. Jack Collins then reviewed the benefits to patient care and patient care coordination throughout the system. A list of DB Motion clients was provided, and the DB Motion system will be installed in 2 phases, and the phases were reviewed. Therefore, I move now to approve moving forward with the DB Motion Health Information Exchange project at a cost of $3 million as recommended by the Finance Committee.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next topic is resolution and document approval for Series 2015A and Series 2015B loans, and Carol Ann Kalish will read the resolution.
This is a 4-page resolution, so try to continue to pay attention. This is a resolution authorizing and approving the refunding and refinancing of the outstanding Sarasota County Public Hospital District Variable Rate Hospital Revenue Refunding Bonds, Sarasota Memorial Hospital Project, Series 2008A and Series 2009B. Approving separate direct loans in the principal amount of not to exceed $71,100,000 and $70,750,000 respectively for the purpose of refunding and refinancing the Series 2008A bonds and the Series 2009B bonds respectively. Approving a form of loan agreements, authorizing the execution and delivery of documents and the taking of all other necessary actions in connection with the loans, and providing for severability and an effective date. So, here we go. Whereas the Sarasota County Public Hospital District, hereinafter referred to as the district, is a body corporate established pursuant to Chapter 2003-359 Laws of Florida, as amended, hereinafter referred to as the Act, and whereas the district, through the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board, as the governing body of the district, hereinafter referred to as the board, is authorized by the Act, among other things, to provide at one time or from time to time for the issuance of revenue bonds of the district for the purpose of financing or refinancing the cost of acquisition and construction of extensions and additions to any hospital buildings and facilities of the district, together with equipment required in connection therewith, and to take all other actions necessary in connection therewith. And whereas the district, acting by and through the board, entered into a master indenture dated as of September 1, 1996, with Wachovia Bank National Association, formerly known as First Union National Bank, as master trustee, hereinafter referred to as the master trustee, as supplemented and amended, hereinafter referred to as the master indenture, which governs the issuance from time to time of indebtedness of the district. And whereas the district has previously issued and there remains outstanding invariable rate hospital revenue refunding bonds Series 2008A, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2008A bonds, and its variable rate hospital revenue refunding bonds Series 2009B, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2009B bonds, and collectively with the Series 2008A bonds, the refunded bonds. And whereas the refunded bonds are each variable rate bonds secured by a bank-issued letter of credit and are subject to tender and remarketing, and whereas the district has previously considered and approved refinancing the refunded bonds with a direct bank loan or loans, which would thereby eliminate the letter of credit and remarketing fees associated with the debt. And whereas, as authorized by the district, the Chief Financial Officer, working with the district's financial advisor, solicited and evaluated lending proposals from financial institutions and, on the basis of that evaluation, recommended that the proposals of the Northern Trust Company and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., with its affiliate DNT Asset Trust, be accepted and that documents be negotiated with such institutions. And whereas the district desires to formally authorize and approve the refunding of the outstanding Series 2008A bonds and the Series 2009B bonds by means of separate direct loans, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2015A loan and the Series 2015B loan, respectively, and collectively the refunding loans, the payment of any and all costs associated with the refunding loans or the refinancing of the refunded bonds, and such other actions as may be necessary or incidental in connection with the foregoing. Whereas the district has previously entered into a master indenture, herein defined, which governs the issuance from time to time of indebtedness of the district, and the district intends to deliver separate supplements thereunder and separate obligations described therein, which will secure the district's repayment obligations with respect to each of the refunding loans. And whereas there have been presented at this meeting draft copies of the following documents related to the refunding loans, namely, 1, a form of supplemental indenture number 35 by and between the district and the master trustee under the master indenture, which provides for the delivery of obligation number 35 to be dated the date of delivery thereon, hereinafter referred to as obligation number 35, issued by the district to secure the district's obligations under the Series 2015A refunding loan. 2, a form of a loan agreement between the board and the Northern Trust Company, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2015A lender, setting forth the terms of the Series 2015A loan, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2015A loan agreement. 3, a form of promissory note from the board to the Series 2015A lender. 4, a form of supplemental indenture number 36 by and between the district and the master trustee under the master indenture, which provides for the delivery of obligation number 36 to be dated the date of delivery thereof, hereinafter referred to as obligation number 36, issued by the district to secure the district's obligations under the Series 2015 refunding loan. 5, a form of a loan agreement between the board and DNT Asset Trust, hereinafter referred to as the Series 2015B lender, and collectively with the Series 2015B lender, the lenders, setting forth the terms of the Series 2015B refunding loan, the Series 2015B loan agreement, and collectively with the Series 2015A loan agreement, the loan agreements, and a form of promissory note from the board to the Series 2015B lender. Now, therefore, the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board does hereby resolve as follows. Section 1, capitalized words and terms used in this resolution and not defined herein shall have the same meanings in this resolution as such words and terms are given in the master indenture. Section 2, pursuant to the authority granted to it by the Act, the Board hereby authorizes the incurrence of debt in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $141,850,000 in the form of 2 direct loans from the lenders as provided in Section 3 hereof. The Series 2015A refunding loan shall be in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $71,100,000, and the Series 2015B refunding loan shall be in the aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $70,750,000. The refunding loans shall be dated as of the date of funding and shall mature in such amounts and as such times, shall bear interest at such variable interest rates, and shall have such amortization requirements as to be set forth in the loan agreements. Section 3. It is hereby found and determined that due to the current state of the municipal credit market, the character of the refunding loans, time constraints, and the uncertainty inherent in a competitive bidding process, a negotiated sale of the refunding loans to the lenders is in the best interest of the district. The board hereby delegates to the designated officer, which will be defined below, the authority to negotiate the final terms of the refunding loans with the lenders. Subject to the conditions hereinafter set forth, the designated officer is hereby authorized and empowered to determine for the refunding loans the date of sale, principal amounts, maturity dates, interest rates, dated dates, prepayment provisions, and other details of the refunding loans, and the designated officer is authorized to execute the loan agreements on behalf of the board and the district. This delegation of authority is expressly made subject to the conditions set forth below. The loan agreements, in substantially the forms attached hereto as Exhibits A1 and Exhibit A2, shall be executed on behalf of the district by the designated officer with such amendments and omissions as the designated officer, upon the advice of the district's general counsel and bond counsel, deems reasonable and customary for loan agreements. The conditions to exercise the authority to execute the loan agreements are: 1, the aggregate principal amount of the Series 2015A refunding loan shall not exceed $71,100,000, and the aggregate principal amount of the Series 2015B refunding loan shall not exceed $70,750,000. The Series 2015A refunding loan shall have a final maturity date that is not later than July 1, 2037, subject to tender by the lender on or about the 10th anniversary date of the closing of the Series 2015A refunding loan. And the Series 2015B refunding loan shall have a final maturity date that is not later than July 1, 2037, subject to the tender by the lender on or about the 10th anniversary date of the closing of the Series 2015B refunding loan. Upon satisfaction of all of the requirements set forth above in this section, the designated officer is authorized to execute and deliver the loan agreements, the promissory notes, and obligations number 35 and obligation number 35 and obligation number 36, containing terms that comply with the provisions of this section. The board designates the chair, vice chair, secretary, and assistant secretary of the board, as well as the president and chief financial officer of the district, each as designated officers for purpose of this resolution. Section 4. The proceeds of the refunding loans shall be applied to the refunding of the refunded bonds. The board hereby authorizes the payment of the costs of such refunding and restructuring from other available district funds. The board hereby finds that the use of the proceeds of the refunding loans to refinance the refunded bonds, including the payment of the costs of issuance thereof, will accomplish the public purposes set forth in the Act. Section 5. The forms, terms, and provisions of the loan agreements, the promissory notes, and the supplements are hereby approved in all respects, and the chair or vice chair, or the secretary or assistant secretary of the board, or the president or the chief financial officer of the district are hereby each authorized and directed to execute and deliver such agreements and documents in substantially the forms presented at this meeting, together with the changes. I just want y'all to know I'm not reading the documents. It's just this resolution I'm going to be reading. Together with such changes, modifications, and deletions as the officer signing such documents with the advice of counsel may deem necessary and appropriate, including but not limited to changes, modifications, and deletions necessary to incorporate the final terms of the refunding loans. And such execution and delivery shall be conclusive evidence of the approval and authorization thereof by the board. Section 6. Each designated officer is hereby authorized and directed, without limitation except as may be expressly set forth herein, to take such action and to execute and deliver any such documents, certificates, undertakings, agreements, or other instruments as such officer, with the advice of counsel, may deem necessary or appropriate to effect the transactions contemplated by this resolution, including without limitation one or more tax compliance certificates with respect to matters relating to the exclusion from gross income of interest on the refunding loans, and any documentation required by the lenders in order to close the transactions, including any administrative questionnaires or wire transfer authorization forms or loan proceeds and loan payments. Section 7, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage. Passed and adopted by the Sarasota County Public Hospital Board this 16th day of March, 2015.
Second.
No, not yet, not yet. I therefore move approval of the resolution as published and for authorization for the execution and delivery of such documents as are necessary for the finalization of the transactions consistent with the resolution as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Second.
Yes. Next subject that came up was invasive cardiology replacement system with the Philips X-Per Flex. David Patterson presented the proposed replacement of the invasive cardiology information system with Philips X-Per Flex. The current system was installed in 2004 and is not meeting current technology requirements. It is at the end of its useful life and cannot be expanded to work with any more systems. David discussed the benefits of the new X-Per Flex system. He also discussed the workflow benefits. It is compatible with our current GE operating systems in the OR. David reviewed the cost projections. It will be implemented in 2 fiscal years and is a budgeted item. Therefore, I move approval for the purchase of the new Philips X-Per Flex system for invasive cardiology in the amount of $800,000 as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Second.
Yes. The next topic was the single sign-on system. John Bozer discussed the single sign-on system. Current workflow issues were discussed. Clinicians have lost productivity due to having to log into each application. The new single sign-on was piloted on 9 Courtyard Tower. John discussed the initial login and additional logins that must be done during a shift. The savings in time is estimated at up to 23 minutes per person per shift and can be done device to device. Tina Sweeney discussed the experience on her units when the system was trialed. It is easy to use and everyone on her unit is feeling that the system is very good. Therefore, I move approval of the purchase and implementation of the single sign-on system for logging into clinical systems in the amount of $600,000 as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Comments or questions? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And that concludes my report, Madam Chairman.
Go ahead, please. So we'll move on to the Human Resources Committee report. Joe DiVigilio, Chairman.
Alrighty, Madam Chair, the committee met on March, I'll get it here, There it is. If I could read, we'd be all set, see? March the 3rd, 11 a.m. The meeting really was to present the high-level human resource statistics for the health system. Lori Bennett introduced two of her employees who made the presentations, Susan Curran and Lisa Baumgartner, and they reviewed a number of the statistical items associated with human resources. We are one of the largest employers in the county, and obviously it's pretty important that we set some leadership relative to how those employees are compensated, treated, and the overall environment. We also talked about the turnover rate here, and with the high level of work that we've had this past year, turnover is pretty critical. So as a result of all of that, we received that annual report, and that concludes my report.
Governance Committee, Ms. Alex Miller.
The Governance Committee also met on March 3rd, but you have already summarized nicely what we discussed, which was the resignation and the appointment, so I have no report.
Quality Committee, Mr. Bob Strasser, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a proposed motion. I move approval of the Environmental Care Plan as recommended by the Quality Committee.
Second.
Need a second? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
I have nothing more, Madam Chair.
We'll move on to the President's report, Mr. David Gallagher, Presidency.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The start today is with our report card for year-to-date, February 25th. And we start in our first pillar, which is our service pillar, and with our HCAP scores. We have a goal of getting 9 better. For year to date, we are at 9 out of 11 for 50th percentile. On the outpatient side, we have a goal of hitting 90. We are to this day. When we look at our people pillar, we have our merits on time. We have a goal of hitting 95%. We are a little under that. We're at 89%. We'll work with our management teams here to get that number up. On the turnover ratio, we have a goal of hitting 60% or less for our turnover ratio. That is moving up and around right now. We reported a 19%. So that's come down a slight bit from there, but still we do a little bit more to go. Quality pillar, we have organizational percentage of patient safety readiness, 95%. I'm happy with it. Infection prevention, which is our combined overall standardized infection rate, with the goal being 0.95, and we are 0.87. Finance pillar, Bill Logan, CFO, has already reported on this. We have an organizational finance goal, our budget is 9%. In the growth pillar, our strategic growth organizational goals, both inpatient and outpatient. On the inpatient side, our goal is to hit 26,000 admissions. We're on track for 26,000 for 30 months of goal. Outpatient registrations, our goal is 755,000, which is, and we are exceeding that at 669,000. When we get into a little bit into our HCAP scores, this gives you the 11 various indicators of HCAPs. And if you look to the far right, you will see our February data. It's a little bit disappointing. We hit 6 out of 4 the month of February. We have the work with all levels to continue to move that number back up. but as I'm told, we look at likelihood of recommending, and reported, we are at the 85th percentile. We set a internal goal of hitting, we have on our leader report card, 3rd percentile. To move that. More into the people. This was the cardiac surgery program, first of the residents of the Meadows Sarasota Memorial Hospital Auxiliary. The program has been support for cardiac surgery programs since 1985. The fellows accompanies the fellow companies the patients from the post-op ICU throughout the remainder of their stay, and is then brought home to help them in the recovery process. Also celebrated this past month, Black History Month. So Sarasota Memorial Celebration Black History Month this February. In February came to a memorial close with the induction of 4 outstanding staff members into the organization's Black History Month Hall of Fame. Keisha Snipes of Health and Information Management, Denise Jones of Cardiac Progressive 2, Marcella Diener of Cardiac Progressive, and Carlos Rock of Hospitality Services. These employees were nominated by their peers and leaders based on their leadership, positive self-image, and service to the community and coworkers. So if you run into these, please pass on. Congratulations. Next up, we have, Alice mentioned this just a little bit ago, but we wanted to talk about it. The Sarasota Memorial Healthcare Foundation received the national recognition for its support of the Suncoast Blood Bank and the blood drive that has supported SMH over the years. Out of 70 national nominations, the foundation was selected to receive humanitarian service. Quarles, our foundation president and CEO, will be at the ceremony in Arlington, Virginia to accept the award on March 23rd. So, Alex, for us.
Well, it wouldn't work if it wasn't such a great hospital to support, so we're pleased to do it and help you too. Thank you.
Staying in the people category, we also last month unveiled the new Starlight Suite pediatrics unit. Was underwritten by Marie Selby Foundation and Children's Foundation. Starlight Sites have vastly improved the pediatric care experience for the hospital and Ballmer Hospital. So thank you very much for the generous support, collaboration, and St. People's. Moving into the safety segment. Last week was Patient Safety Awareness Week. The theme was United in Safety. Highlights of the fact that everyone, care providers, patients, and families, all have a role to play in ensuring safe care. Special activities, created awards, provided educational resources, and reinforced that we are all united on the goal of delivering safe patient care. So thank you to all of our Patient Safety Awareness Committee members for planning a great week. The other day, I got this. I think I got it Friday, Thursday or Friday. Here, Sarasota Memorial Nursing and Rehab Center was recognized as one of the best nursing homes in U.S. News and World Report for 2015. So, just a huge congratulations to Maria DeCarlo and her team. Really one of those nice surprises. I realized that we were. The American Heart Association of Sarasota Memorial received recognition for stroke care from the American Heart Association's Gift with Guidelines stroke patient management tool. We received the Target Stroke Elite, the second highest level. This means that during a TPA event, patients are being seen in 60 minutes or less, 75% of the time or greater. We are currently hitting the mark of 80% of the time and hope to achieve Target Stroke Elite Plus, which the patients are seen in under 45 minutes. So congratulations to our stroke team and our physicians involved. As Dr. Jakes reported earlier Center. We had a trauma bill earlier this month, and it was what we recently held our first of several trauma bills to track the flow of the trauma patient using our patient simulator through the system and to identify any gaps in the process. I think Dr. Chips did a great job of reporting this earlier, but as he said, virtually every department that was part of the trauma center's patient's care participated in the drill, including the emergency care center, surgery, ICU, respiratory, radiology, public safety, lab, operation of plant, registration, spiritual care, and many, many other support areas. Trauma surgeons and physicians from other specialties that typically treat critical and injured patients also take part. So we'll have many more of these. We'll continue to refine our processes, but I think as you heard Dr. Bates talk earlier, we had a great first one. Thank you. This was also a surprise. I'm always we have Mr. Carter here who shares some of these headlines that come out in the Dennis Gondolier, but Ed Gondolier, son editor, had thanked SMH for the trauma center plans and just wanted to thank them publicly for their acknowledgement. And finally, let me. It's I gotta tell you, it's with very mixed emotions that we have Dennis up here today. He is, as you all are aware, he's announced his retirement at the end of this month. So this is his last board meeting, unless you get from back going forward. There you go. Amen. Thanks to you. Yeah, you would never do that, Dennis.
Somebody like you out there asking a lot of money.
So I gotta just tell you a couple of things. Dennis was appointed vice president and CIO in 2000, and after serving 5 years as SMH's director of information systems. During his nearly 2 decades at SMH, his philosophy of embracing advanced technology to improve patient care has transformed the health system into a leading IT innovator. It's difficult to summarize all of his achievements. There have been so many, and they are so far-reaching, with an enormous impact on patients, staff, and physicians. To name just a few, he's introduced our new IT strategies to improve quality and safety and better manage clinical data, while meeting numerous regulatory requirements. In fact, he and his team helped usher in an era of electronic medical records at SMH, and the hospital was one of the earliest adapters of the EMR. SMH was also among the first hospitals in the southeast United States to implement a digital radiology system and wireless network. During his tenure, we selected and implemented more than 50 other systems that have helped to enhance efficiency and streamline the functions. Dennis also is known for supporting the next generation of technology, champion startups such as Volt. The list goes on and on. Of course, these accomplishments wouldn't have happened without our exceptional IT team and many others, but we're fortunate to have Dennis' leadership showing us all the way. And so I'll just take a personal note and tell you that I've had the privilege of working with my friend for the past 9 years. And he and I have had shared an assistant and shared office space over that time, and I'm going to be for this. So I wish you all the best.
As you approve the funding for $3 million for the health information exchange, it reflected that the first time the chair before the board is asking for $2 million. Last week at the Finance Subcommittee, seeking approval for the HIE, your unwavering support have been nearly as successful as we have. Especially thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Dennis, if I could just say for the board, again, Publicly, we thank you so much for everything you've contributed to the institution. And as I mentioned at the management committee meeting, whenever Dennis came to see us, we knew three things. One, he would be well prepared. Two, it would cost a lot of money. And three, we'd have to do it. It really was the right thing. So we thank you for everything. And I think we have nothing on the consent agenda. Public comments, no public comments. Legal matters, no additional ones.
Could you stand it if there were?
And so, under other business, we had, I think, Mr. Henry wanted to have a brief discussion about veteran interaction, or our interaction with the veterans.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Recently in the news, we have heard a lot of comments about how our veterans are being cared for. Mostly, I would say poorly. There's a move afoot now in the United States Congress to approve what amounts to a voucher system so veterans can take their vouchers to wherever medical facilities they want to go to get help. They can go to a veteran facility, they can go to a private facility, or a public hospital system like ours. I would like the board to take a position to encourage veterans to use Sarasota Memorial with their vouchers. And by so doing that, I would encourage the board to give more consideration to opening up a small hospital facility in the Northport area, partially funded by the expertise they give to veterans. Open that as a test facility, if you will, to see how much use we get out of it. And I would use the veterans concentration to fund to get off the ground level.
So you would like the board to take this up? I would suggest that we move this either to the quality committee or to the mission and planning committee so that it can have proper consideration and discussion and thoughtful handling of the matter. So let's do that.
Yes, ma'am, that's fine. Thank you for entertaining the comments.
You're very welcome. Any other business to come before the board? If not, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.